I don't think there's any better way to start a fall lookbook than with a Halloween ensemble. This look is mostly suitable for mid-1890s, but with some whimsy thrown in for sure. So let's talk about this outfit from top to bottom. Bernadette Banner recently put out an amazing tutorial for a witch hat, which is what I used to make this one. The trim I came up with myself, but it was pretty easy to do, and it was based on some trim that I did for a hat for a different Halloween look. The jacket is a pattern hack, and I used 2 different truly Victorian patterns to make what I was looking for. I really love the cropped Eton jacket, and I thought it would go great with this outfit, but I felt like the sleeve pattern it came with was not really puffy enough for my taste. So I went ahead and took the sleeve from a different truly Victorian pattern that had a much bigger sleeve cap, and I just added it to the Eton jacket body. Sleeves are definitely one of the easiest things to pattern hack. The blouse is also from truly Victorian, but I didn't make any changes to this pattern. This is just their 1895 shirtwaist. The skirt pattern is done by Repeated Originals, and it's the only pattern I use that I wouldn't necessarily recommend. This pattern came in the form of a PDF and was pretty inconvenient to put together. There are much better walking skirt patterns out there for around the same price point. I won't spend too much time talking about this outfit because I actually have an entire YouTube video devoted just to this one outfit, but I will give you the quick rundown. I made this outfit for the Historical Halloween Challenge, and it's actually based on the cover of a magazine from 1895. The magazine cover is just so adorable that as soon as I saw it, I knew that it was what I wanted to do for the Historical Halloween Challenge. I used the same hat and skirt pattern that I did for my other Halloween looks, so the only thing here that's really new are the gloves and the bodice. The bodice is by Black Snail Patterns, and I would highly recommend this pattern maker, and the gloves are from a tutorial that I found for free online. I would definitely say that I struggled with the gloves more than anything else, and next time I will definitely not be choosing a Halloween costume that requires me to make my own gloves. I even made my dog Sundance a bow to match the one that the black cat is wearing on the magazine cover. The rest of my fall wardrobe is a lot more casual compared to those first 2 looks. I started with the blouse from the Angela Clayton 1890s walking ensemble pattern by McCall's. That shirt is actually meant to be worn underneath a jacket, so it doesn't come with a sleeve at all. So I just went ahead and added a Jigo sleeve that I found in another pattern book to that original blouse pattern. The skirt is a variation of the cycling skirt from Black Snail's Patterns. This pattern has really been a workhorse for my wardrobe, and I own about 4 or 5 different versions of this skirt. The shoes, tights, and suspenders were all just found somewhere online. This outfit is also a little bit of a deviation from what I normally wear in the fall, but I really loved the way that this outfit came out, so I decided to include it here. I originally got my start in sewing by trying to make Japanese Gothic Lolita clothing way back in 2006 when those clothes were not readily available in the United States. And I still have a couple of pieces hanging around in my wardrobe that I still really like. I'm pretty sure that this dress was self-drafted, and if it wasn't, it's been so long since I made it that I have no idea what pattern it came from. The shirt, however, is another truly Victorian piece, and it is just that same 1895 shirtwaist. The hat is based on that same Bernadette Banner tutorial, but I made it out of furniture caning because I really wanted a straw scarecrow version of that same witch hat. This is the same truly Victorian shirtwaist that I was wearing in the last outfit, and I find myself reaching for this blouse quite a lot. I think the textured silk adds some interest, but it's not too busy that I can't wear it with a lot of different outfits. This skirt is the Black Snail's Pattern cycling skirt that I mentioned earlier, but this one is a lot closer to how they actually intend the skirt to come out at the end. I have to say, I've been really drawn to that classic professor aesthetic lately. This is probably my absolute favorite outfit from this season, and it's how I wish I could look all the time. I don't think I have any new patterns to talk about here, so let's talk about the fabric instead. I find that I love the look of wool garments, but I live in a pretty mild climate, so not only is it expensive, but it can also be too hot, so it really just doesn't serve my purposes that well at all. I've been finding that cotton yarn-dyed flannel is not only much cheaper, but it's still natural fibers, and if you flatline it with quilt cotton, it honestly does a really good job of draping in the same way that wool often does. One important caveat is that it's really important that you get yarn-dyed flannel rather than digital print. Yarn-dyed just means that the fibers were dyed separately and then woven, so it looks the same on both sides, whereas a digital print is exactly what it sounds like. They just stamp the design onto the front of the fabric. Putting together this album has made me realize that all of my fall clothes pretty much fall into one of 2 categories. which is either 1890s lady professor or so Halloween inspired that it should basically just be a costume. This dress is yet another relic from my Lolita days. I have it coordinated here in a way that I don't normally wear it, which is with a bunch of black accessories. Normally I wear this outfit with just gold to match the trim on the dress. Another very Halloween inspired look. This one is a dirndl that I made for Oktoberfest last year. I was going for something that was a little bit more unique than the fall colors that I feel like I ordinarily see in dirndls. So I decided to do all black and focus most of my attention on doing interesting textures. The bodice is made out of velveteen. The apron is a cute little burnout velvet, which is actually the same apron you saw in the last look. The blouse is made out of an unlined striped voile, and the skirt is made out of the same fabric, but of course with a lining. Does this skirt look familiar to you? Believe it or not, it's actually not exactly the same skirt as before. I just realized that I ended up loving that style so much that I wanted to own it in a more wearable length. So I made it in this cycling style instead of in a full length silhouette. This sweater is definitely one of my favorite fall pieces. It's made using the Fresh Frippery tutorial for the 1890s cycling sweater. But the thing that's a little bit unique about this is that I made it out of an old cable knit throw blanket so that it would actually look like a real sweater with no knitting involved. I also think that it looks great with this green cycling skirt from earlier as well. All right, I think this is going to be my final fall look. The skirt is made using the truly Victorian ripple skirt pattern. It's made from a light brown corduroy, and I used a dark brown soutache to embellish it. It's actually based on an extant museum example, and I don't think mine came out quite as cute, but I'm actually still really happy with it. The top is actually a Lucky Fast fashion find, which I got from Zara, and I was so excited to have a new blouse that I didn't have to make myself. I'm never quite sure about straw hats for fall outfits, but I actually think that this kind of works. All right, so the last outfit was going to be the last one that I planned on showing you, but I finished what I'm wearing now right before I started editing, and I couldn't resist including it in the fall lookbook. So I'm wearing a silk velvet vest, one of the blouses that has been featured in some of the other looks, as well as a pair of free cycling trousers that I found online. I'm not going to go into too much detail about this outfit because it's probably going to be featured in my next YouTube video, so let's skip straight to doing some wrap up. I think what I enjoyed the most about doing this project was looking over some of the outfits that I've made in prior years, as well as thinking about just how much I've accomplished during this season. A lot of these skirts and a lot of these blouses I made in the last few months, so it was really nice to actually look back and think about how much I've actually done. Sometimes it feels like I haven't done anything in months and everything is taking forever, but when you put it all in one place, I do really think I actually have accomplished quite a bit since the start of the season. I am really sad to be saying goodbye to fall and all the beautiful fall colors, but I'm looking forward to doing some new videos coming up next. The other thing that I really enjoyed about working on this lookbook was being able to see what my style actually looks like. So I've always felt like my style wasn't particularly cohesive, but the more I watched the lookbook come together, the more it became incredibly obvious that there are a few really obvious trends in the types of clothes that I tend to gravitate towards. Definitely gave me more of a handle on the types of clothing that I really enjoy wearing. I think that's it for me. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.